Are you struggling to constantly market yourself? Or maybe you feel like it's a struggle. Like every day you wake up and you're like, God, I have to put myself out there again. I get it. And I have a solution. Are you ready? Welcome to the Savvy Agent Podcast, where we help real estate agents build a thriving business so they have financial freedom in their life without having to work 24/7. I'm your host, Heather Wright. Now let's get to it. So this podcast is for the real estate agent that feels like every day is a struggle, finding leads, their next lead that turns into their next client, that turns into their next sale. I know the last few years have been kind of weird, and inventory is so low that when houses do come up that are move-in ready, that are priced right, then it's like a melee with buyers where they're all stampeding in and competing on that one house because there's just not a lot of other houses to choose from. And so that plus natural seasonal timing, I know in my market, it naturally slows down around Mother's Day and doesn't really pick up until after Labor Day. Not that it's dead all summer long. That's just the natural progression. We have our burst of sales in the spring market, and then summer is a little bit slower. And then we have another burst after Labor Day, but we stay consistently busy. And we do that because I don't feel like I'm constantly marketing myself. So if you feel the struggle to constantly put yourself out there and you're constantly marketing yourself and you're begging for business and you don't know where to find your next lead, I would challenge you to change your mindset. And instead of feeling like you have to market yourself, what if you decided to serve? What if you approached your database, your past clients, your sphere of influence? What if you approached them with an attitude of service? I mean, the thing of it is if you're reaching out to people with the expectation that that's going to turn into a sale, of course you're going to be disappointed. That is not how it works. Unfortunately, I wish it did work that way, but it doesn't. So when you're working your database, your past clients, your sphere of influence, everyone you know, that is a slow burn. That is going to fill your pipeline over 4 years. So what you do today might be what you get paid on in 90 days, but it also might be what you get paid on in 9 months or 9 years. I also know how difficult it is to keep a positive attitude when it feels like nothing is going your way. And so I want to remind you that sometimes when it doesn't go your way, first of all, that's possibly a blessing in disguise, where that horrible person didn't hire you. Ooh, well, you dodged a bullet there, didn't you? That person didn't want to hire you because they didn't like the price that you gave on their listing. Fine. Let someone else have an overpriced listing. Maybe it sells at the overpriced price. Fine. They deserve somebody who supports them and their craziness in that matter. And that's just not you. And it would have been super frustrating for you to work with them because it would have been a constant battle. So when you don't win the situation in the moment, it's not exactly a loss down the road. I have a closing this week for somebody who was a referral from a past client. So a past client who bought some land with me maybe 7 years ago, she had her mom call me to buy a townhouse, which is wonderful. I love it when that happens. That's exactly how it's supposed to happen with my systems to stay in touch with my past clients. But this past client bought land to build a house, and they worked direct with their builder, and that was the plan all along. But then they had a house that they needed to sell, and I interviewed for the job, and they didn't like my price, and they hired somebody else. I did not win that listing, and 4 years later, they still had her mom call me to be their realtor. So just because you lose once doesn't mean you lose forever. So when it comes to people being disloyal to you, there's a couple of different ways that you can approach that, where you just rework your mindset that it's a blessing to you, that this is freeing up your time, your mind space to not have to deal with them in this moment because it is not meant for you. And that is a good thing. You're dodging a bullet and not having to work with them right now. But then in a couple of years, that situation might be different, and be open to that. So just because you worked with them once and you didn't work with them this time doesn't mean there won't be a next time. So if you can come from a position of serving, giving market updates, if you send out a newsletter, what can you include in that newsletter that is of value? And I don't mean a newsletter that takes 2 days to design in Canva and has 17 links and 42 things you can do in town this weekend. Like, oh my God, no. A newsletter can be as simple as a market update. Hey guys, here's what's going on in this market today. And a market update can be as simple as here's how many active listings there are, here's how many pending listings there are, and here's how long those pending listings were on the market, and here's how many closed last month, whatever you want it to be. And we all know that the MLS numbers change like that. They change so fast that it's impossible to even recreate the same market update. If you do one on Monday, it's impossible to recreate it on Wednesday because all of a sudden things that were in pending have now moved to closed, or people have cleaned up, or something went back on market. Like it's insanity. So do not question yourself. Do not question your numbers. Keep it as simple as possible. If you do not know how to explain attrition, don't talk about it. Talk about what you do know, and then take an hour to study something new. How can I talk about attrition to my clients? Go to a class that your brokerage office offers. Go to a class that your board offers and increase your skills so then you can include that in your update next month. You don't have to know everything today. Sometimes the simplest, easiest things are the best updates that provide value to your past clients, your sphere of influence, everyone you know, that will help you stay top of mind. And in a way is, yes, marketing yourself, but it is serving. You're giving that information that is helpful to people who own homes. If they don't like it, they can unsubscribe. And if they unsubscribe, that's great. It just frees up space on your email list for somebody else who needs that information. My best friend unsubscribes from my emails. I only subscribed her once. It's not like it happens every time. But it makes me laugh because I'm like, God, that bitch unsubscribed. Well, yes, because she doesn't want my emails because I'm going to be the person that she calls when she needs a realtor. So she just likes a clean inbox. She probably unsubscribes to everything that everybody sends to her, but I'm her girl. And so, okay, now I know she doesn't want emails, but I can text her. I mean, it's different when it's your best friend, but if it were your best past client who unsubscribed, do not take that personally. Text them instead of emailing them. And a direct one-to-one email for an equity update is totally different than a marketing email like your newsletter would be. So take everything with a grain of salt. Nothing is personal against you. And if you feel like you're struggling to constantly market yourself, it's because you are. So change your mindset, change your viewpoint, stop marketing, start serving. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, what do I do with my social media? Like, of course that's marketing because it's branding and blah, 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 all the things that go with social media. Yeah, I know. Social media is kind of a big bummer of life, isn't it? If you're great at it, you're great at it. If you're not great at it, it is a life suck, isn't it? So, of course, having a presence on social media is not a bad thing. But it is a drag when it feels like no one is engaging with your stuff. But again, they just may not want to engage with your stuff. So people are watching, they just might be really shy and they're watching from afar and they may love and adore you. They just don't like the post or love the post. So I think that's totally okay. And if social media is so awful in your life, what would happen if you did nothing with social media for like a month? What would happen if you only did your serving via email, phone, and text? What if you didn't do anything at all with social media? What if social media graced us by blowing up and going away today? Well, we would all probably find a lot more time on our hands, wouldn't we? And so what if you took a brief vacation from social media and just tried to serve the people that you know one-to-one, sending a one-to-one email, sending a one-to-one text, sending a one-to-one phone call, not to ask for referrals, not for you, but for them, because you're going to serve, you're going to help them. You have information that they need as a homeowner. You, of course, are going to reap the benefits of this by having top of mind awareness and, hopefully earning their repeat business and or referrals. But the action that you take today is really not about marketing yourself. It's really about serving your existing client base. And so if you have to take a vacation from social media to make that shift from marketing to serving, then do it. Do it. And then when you perfect serving the people you know, serving your database, then you can add social media back in and start serving there. The value of your service is going to be much better received from people you already know than going out into the ether on social media. So it's really, social media is a very low priority. You know the people that you know, and it is time to serve them. And if you don't have any business and you don't have any sales, you don't have anything better to do. So serve the people you already know. And it will not happen in a day. It will not happen in a week, probably. But over a period of time of consistent serving, you will see this pay off with a boost of business, people calling you up to sell their house, buy a house, rentals, whatever your business is. And you're going to have a much better frame of mind working in your business than you would if you were beating yourself up because you felt like you were constantly marketing yourself. Stop the marketing, start serving. That's how you solve that problem. I hope it was helpful to everybody and have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.